What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian? How's it going?
What up, my man? How you doing this fine Monday, the 1st of July?
It is
We are
July
over the
1st.
Halfway mark for the year, dude.
That blows my mind that it is July 1st. Yeah, it's hard to even believe. I was talking with someone the other day, and June flew by. I mean, these last few months have flown by, honestly. It's amazing that when you have nothing to do, time still continues to fly by. I thought being unemployed was going to be a drag, but here we are.
No, sir. You're more busy than ever because everybody assumes you have nothing to do.
Like 3 months later, and here we are.
Yep.
Boy, craziness. Yeah, July. 4th of July is coming up this week. Do you have any plans for 4th of July? Does your family go see fireworks? Do a barbecue
definitely
or something?
Looking to see, do some fireworks. I might be running around. I don't know. Might do a little family thing. Might do a friend thing. Might do both. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just go to sleep. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. It's a day off, first and foremost.
I love that. I love how it's like, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll just go to sleep. Honestly, I like that idea the best.
I'm unpredictable. What can I say?
If I had the choice, I'd probably just go to sleep as well. If I didn't have two Rugrats to take care of.
Fair.
Man, but yeah, it's time's really flying. And what was it? Oh, there's a streamer that I was watching last month. He did a subathon all month long. Shout out to A Dark Legacy. I think we rated him one time after a stream. He started June 1st and went for 30 days straight. Ended last night at midnight.
Is this his career? Like he does this full time?
Yeah, he's a full-time streamer.
Oh,
he's been doing it for quite a few years. He's started back in I think he's been doing it for 4 or so years or something like that. His big thing is giving away Pokemon cards. That's his thing. He doesn't sell them. He gives them away. People just donate bits and gift subs, and that's how he pays for it all. So it's an incredible community over there. Some cool community. I even won some stuff, which is awesome. Super stoked about that. But yeah, it was this weird, even he was saying, he's like, dude, I thought this subathon was going to drag, and he's like, here it is. We're 30 minutes from midnight. I'm hitting off on the stream. As soon as I'm done, I'm just shutting it down. Clock stops, I stop.
I'm not mad at it.
But he's like, I can't believe I thought it was going to be a drag, and here it flew by.
So was he doing shifts, or was he doing they're watching me sleep too, or?
They were watching him sleep and everything. Yeah. So he was.
That's hardcore.
Camera
Good
on.
night.
He set up his bed in the stream room, and then he'd be up, and he'd get going around 5 or 6 o'clock each night, give away a bunch of Pokemon cards, and then around midnight, 1 o'clock, start playing games. He played all the way through Pokemon Crystal. He played all the way through, or he started going through The Last of Us, and then he kind of cut out on that. But he started playing a mod. Oh, we're getting real off topic here. He played a modded version of Fire Red that you play as Team Rocket.
I've heard of this.
You start out. He just started it just a couple days ago. So unfortunately, he didn't get very far into it before the subathon ended. But he said he's I'm planning on Wednesday night. It's going to be his game night. He's going to continue to play through it. But I'm like, I need this game so bad. It starts out and you're in this line at Team Rocket graduation, and everyone's getting there. It says, go choose your Pokemon, and you go up and there's 1,000 Pokeballs, and it's all just Rattatas.
It's so good.
And the drill sergeant's cussing you out and yelling at you, all right, get out there and steal some Pokemon. That's a game mechanic. You battle people, you could steal their Pokemon, and you could choose any of the Pokemon you want to steal from them. Oh man, so good. Yeah,
the fact that this would. It would never be a Pokemon game. It would never, ever be a real Pokemon game, but it makes such perfect sense.
It would be such an incredible Pokemon game, though, if they actually made that. If they let you be Team 100%. Rocket. Oh, so good. Oh, man. But yeah. So anyways, it was just wild, though, this last month, being a part of that. And then again, for me, this month flew by. For him, it was just oh, yeah, June's over. Here we are. It's
all done.
Moving on. Time's flying.
Christmas will be here before you know it, man.
Heck yeah. Oof, that's how it goes. It's once June, July, summer starts going, it's just all right, the end of the year is gone. We're done.
Once we hit the burr months, once we hit the burrs, it's all just going to be one big blur. September onward, forget it.
Wild. Crazy. All right, well, we should get going talking about some video games. I'll be talking about video games. Talk about some Pokemon
If we
games.
must.
But today we're going to be talking about Sony revisiting backwards compatibility, what happened to Xbox with Project Keystone, and would Kojima work on Metal Gear again? But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash and Kojima01, and our super gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 a month gets your episodes early and ad-free all month long, including this show, access to our Patreon exclusive shows like Super Later Boys, and a bunch of other perks that we're going to talk about later on in the Patreon ad. So stay tuned for that. Real quick here, I do want to give a huge shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on our show. Today we should be listening to it's not DJ Trooz, it's Yate and Jack Sriracha. So, which I believe they have some new stuff. I think we mentioned it last week.
They're cooking.
I know it was coming out on more services. I need to add it to the playlist. But yeah,
I can make a couple phone calls.
It's exciting.
See what I can do.
Oof, love it. But so yeah, go check them out. Links will be in the show description for their Apple Music link and Spotify. I think they're pretty much everywhere there. So go check them out. And with that, it's now time to check the mail.
Fire it up.
All right. Let's
engage.
Boot up Super Gamer.
Go.
What up, Geekazoids? Here we are again with some hot questions. You ready to get going?
Wait, did
what is this, 1993?
Freakazoids? Is that what they called us?
What decade are you stuck in, GamerBot? What?
I totally forgot about that show until they just mentioned it. What a wild cartoon. Oh, man. I love Super Gamer Bot.
Brother. We got to update that BIOS, man. Good grief.
Nah, it's more fun this way. It's more fun. keep it going. Oh, man. All right. Super Gamer Bot, do you mind giving us that first question, please?
Crimson asks, what is a game that is stuck on old consoles or PC that you wish would come back?
Ooh, Crimson asks, what's a game stuck on an old console or PC that you want back? Ooh,
I mean, the easy answer is Metal Gear Solid 4. Of course. That's number one.
That's the gimme. I mean, really anything on the PS3. You know, there's a lot of stuff.
Well, foreshadowing.
Some stuff, yeah, right. I mean, some stuff has come to PlayStation now where you can stream it on PS5 and PS4. But it's like, all right, what if I want to just own it? Like whether it's a disc copy or like have a digital download. You can't download a PS3 game at this point. You can only stream it. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is a big one. I mean, that's like a masterpiece that's legitimately stuck. Can't be played
unfortunately
anywhere.
But it may bust out soon. Remember, we got that second part of the master collection, so you never know.
I hope that comes sooner than later. I have a bad feeling it's not, only because of how poorly Volume 1 was received with all the bugs and glitches, and then with Delta in the works right now. So I have a feeling Volume 2 is probably a ways off, only because they want to launch it in a more polished state, which I'm fine with.
I was going to say, and that's fine with me. Take all the time that you need.
But man, to be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4, I mean, I say that with a PS3 next to me and a copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 up there, but is this different? Like, I have to like plug in all the cables on that, get that up and around. Like, you know, it's just a process where it's
and
like,
you could emulate it, but it just don't feel the same.
And from what I've heard, it's one of the harder games on all PS3 games in general are hard to emulate, and that's one of the harder ones too. So it's like, I've never tried it, but I've only seen just like these tutorials and it's like, it's probably not going to work on your system, but you can try. I accept
that excuse from smaller groups that are just doing their thing independently. I will not accept that excuse from the company that made the hardware.
Right.
If they're going to use that as to why they can't do it. So
that's true.
Sorry, you have the schematics down to the metal. I don't want to hear it.
Another thing is all the classic Pokemon games. I want to be able to play them on my Switch.
What's taking them so long?
Why is it not on the Switch Online? Like, I should be able to fire up the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance, like, Switch Online games and jump into Pokemon
They
Red,
got pretty
jump
much
into
everything
Ruby,
else
jump into-
on the Game Boy ones.
I know they have literally everything else. It's like, how could they possibly come up with any more? Just give us Pokemon, right? Like,
Right. Just do it.
Oh man, that's what I wish. I wish we could finally get those dang Pokemon games available, because I mean, again, there's like the incredible, like, finally emulators are in the App Store on the phone, and it makes it easier than ever. I don't have it here in my office, but I showed Adrian. I showed you a couple weeks ago. I 3D printed. You know how?
Yeah.
For like years, I've talked about, like, it would be so cool to have a vertical case or a grip for a phone so I could play, because I've had the emulator that's now available through the App Store. I've had before. I just had to like sideload it and do all this crazy back end stuff. It was a pain in the butt.
As we all did.
Now it's easy to get, and it's even more than ever. I think I talked about kind of a couple episodes ago. I'm like, man, I need a vertical grip to be able to play these games on Game Boy, because the touchscreen is just not the same. And I found one online, 3D printed it. You slide your Joy-Cons into it, and oh baby, does it feel good. But so it's like, yeah, that's great. But then I don't know. There's just something about playing it like on native hardware, not being emulated. It would be nice, especially like something made officially by Nintendo, not like some like weird,
Possibly
back
being
end.
able to trade online. Wouldn't that be weird?
That too.
On the Switch
That
Online?
too.
Yes, dude.
That would be incredible. Just like any of your friends just jump into like an online session and trade, battle, do whatever. Oh
Yeah, they already figured it out. That's the reason we were able to play Four Swords together.
yeah. I totally forgot we did that last week. That was a ton of fun. So yeah, they've got it dialed
Over the
in.
moon. Yes, just figure it out. Just do it.
Give us Pokemon, please. I don't know who I have to pay or what do I have to do. I would literally do anything.
I'll buy them. I will buy them. I have them, and I will buy them.
Mr. Pokemon, just tell me. I'll do anything. I don't even care.
All right, let's slow it down there. That could be taken any number of ways.
Anything. Oh man. Yeah, I think that's probably it for me. Pokemon and then Metal Gear Solid 4. Those are the two big ones. Do you have any more, or is that kind of? I mean, Kingdom Hearts. Up until recently, Kingdom Hearts for you.
That's true. Now it's free.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts has been freed. It's on PC.
Yeah.
No, I'd say that was a big one that was on old hardware and is now available everywhere. I guess there's a lot of DS games that I would like to see somehow brought forward.
That's true. Yeah.
And they are doing it. They're doing like remakes where they retrofit it to work on one screen, but I guess there's no real way to do it with both screens at one time unless you were to do like a new piece of hardware, but ain't gonna happen. And a lot of those games, unfortunately, are gonna go by the wayside, which is a travesty because a lot of them are just gems. But
yeah,
what can you do?
It's sad. It's sad, really. Yeah, so many games just getting lost to time, whether it's the hardware restriction, lack of hardware, or I don't know, or just pure negligence, like with
that
Pokemon.
Too.
Like, what's the deal with Pokemon? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe one day. This next question here from Carrie.
Carrie asks, if you could have any Pokemon as a pet in real life, which would you choose?
Okay, what
Easy.
Pokemon would you want as a pet? All right.
Arcanine.
Okay.
It's a giant dog. It's a giant, legendary, super powerful, super loyal dog. Who wouldn't want an Arcanine?
That's funny. I said I was on the same wavelength, but I just went the first stage.
Growlithe?
I went Growlithe. Yeah, I was just like, it'd be fun because it'd be fun to start out with like a little pup, get to really bond, connect, and Growlithe is so fluffy, fun little. But then
That's fair.
obviously, and then like as it gets older, obviously it evolves into Arcanine, and then you just have like this sick freaking fire wolf
beast.
So
that has the mentality of a dog, but it's 6'3" standing up.
Right.
So
exactly.
You could literally ride it if you wanted to.
Another one I said was Mudkip.
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't hate that one.
I I wouldn't want the future evolutions. I was never a fan of second and third stage, or I guess first and second, because is that how it works? Is basic and then second and third. I don't know why they do
starter,
it that way.
evolution,
or basic and then first and second. That's what they call it. Basic, first and second. I like the basic evolution Mudkip. Anything else is kind of like weird. I wouldn't want it in my house. It's kind of it's like too humanoid. But the basic Mudkip's are really cute. I really like a good old Mudkip. Oh man.
Yeah. That was the easiest one I could have come up with.
There was a side question associated with this as well. How do you all feel about pets for reals? So this is coming from Carrie. So,
I mean, I would assume that I like them a little bit since I work in the veterinary industry.
That checks out. Yeah. Now, are you? I guess I don't. She didn't straight up ask this, but I'm gonna spin it into this. Are you more of a dog person then, or a cat person, or are you really I just like pet? Like both are great.
I'd say definitely dog, but that is not a diss to cats. It's a diss to cat people, but not to cats. Okay. Cats are cool in my book. Cat people, I got my eyes on you. You're an odd bunch.
Can't trust him. I'm definitely a dog
also
person.
Real quick, I'm sorry.
Yes.
There's a difference between cat owners and cat people. I want to distinguish that. If you get what I mean. There are people who own cats and they're fine. Hey, this is my cat. I love my cat. I take care of my cat, blah, blah, blah. And then there are cat people. And I feel like I don't need to define that any further. So
I just love the full 180 Kojima just pulled in the chat. He's like, "We got problems, Adrian." And then as you were,
if you're a cat person, yes.
As you were literally saying your what you just said, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I rescind the previous statement."
Thank you.
I am a dog person, and this might be controversial because Kojima's in the chat, and Carrie I know is a cat person, but I don't like cats. I do not like cats at all.
Really? Is there a reason? Are you just like, I don't like the way they look, or I don't like the way they act?
I mean, I'm allergic to them.
Oh, well, that's not
that helped. But
that's not their fault.
But I also I don't know if I've ever had a good experience with the cat. Even I've tried. It's not like I'm because even though I'm allergic, when I was younger, growing up, go to friends' house stuff, I'd try to pet or just hang out or be cool. Hey, you know what? I'm going to give this cat thing a try. And every time, the cat's either just a jerk, I'd get scratched, I'd get bit. I was I don't know. It's almost, I don't know what it was, but
they can sense your fear and your unease.
Most cats I've come in contact with, I've been hey, I wanted to love you. Here, let me pet you, or let me hang out. And they're just bite, scratch, attack. So
it's because they know you hate them.
I mean, I didn't though. I
secretly
didn't then.
Deep down.
Now I do. Now I do hate cats, and it's because of them. So it's if they want to change, it's on them to change their ways. All right, I'm putting it fully on cats. It's their fault. You know what? They've
cats
created the
as
villain.
a whole. Cats as a species.
Yes,
you must change your ways.
You're the one who's done this. So until you can change some things up, I'm not coming back. I'm sorry. Oh man. Yeah. I can't think of a single cat I've come across that was cool. They're all been jerks, and or a lot of times the owners even acknowledge it. I think that's the thing too. A lot of times oh, don't mess with so and so.
My cat's a little tornado, but I love him.
It's why would you want that? Sure enough, I walk wrong past the cat and it attacks me. I wasn't even looking at you. I was just walking through the living room. What the heck? So I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry to everyone because I know it's going to get a lot of people ticked off, but not a cat person.
I don't apologize for nothing with that. I will say that cats definitely
suddenly Carrie's sorry, I can't support you guys on Patreon. Done. I'm out.
I will say that cats by a country mile have way more capacity to be jerks than dogs do. 100%. They are far more likely to be.
Yeah, dogs can be jerks too, but I feel it's few and far between, and generally it's a more of an environmental thing and an owner thing, you know, like wherever they live and they've, you know, been cared for or not cared for, you know, not trained or trained.
Do you
do
you care for a cat, or do you just provide cats their necessities and then they live their life? I don't feel like you train a cat, do you?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I like dogs because like there is a little more involvement, and I think because of that, there's more of like that loyalty and that connection. Where with a cat, it really is just like having a roommate that's sometimes around. Right. So I don't know. And some people like that. They like the more hands-off approach, and that's great. Like, but for me, it's like if I was ever going to get a pet, it's like, what's the point of getting a pet, right? Is I have something that I can just like, you know, my loyal hound is by my side, and that just loves me and cares for me and, you know, will protect me no matter what. Where the cat's just like, yeah, screw you. You know?
I'd say basically for me, it comes down to, if I had my choice, it would be dogs every time, right? But if somebody came up and said, hey, I need you to take care of this kitten, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? I'll take care of the little fella. I'll raise I'll raise them as my own. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Or if, you know, you come into contact, I don't know if you've heard of the cat distribution system.
No.
Where apparently sometimes cats or kittens just happen to show up in people's paths. And they say that they were brought there by the cat distribution system because the system has determined that it is your time in life and that you have been selected to become a cat owner. And so they put a cat in your path in order for you to take care of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you've been chosen.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that'll probably never happen to me.
Don't never say never, dude. You never know. You live out there in SoCal country land. All you have to do is come across a mother and some kittens.
Oh shoot. Oh man, that'd be my luck.
Yeah.
I gotta take care of these things out.
Right.
Oh man. Even like just pets in general though. As a kid, I was always like, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a pet, I want a dog, whatever. Like loved them. Now as an adult, it's one of those things where now that I have other adult responsibilities, it's definitely come to my attention. Like I like dogs, but I don't know if I would even ever get one as a pet on my own. Because I don't know, we've had this experience where family members and friends like all have dogs, whether it's here where I live or like again like friends that we've like house sat and dog sat. Like we have to take care of their like they that's like an extra thing on top of like your other adult responsibility. You're going on a trip, well now you got to find someone to take care of your dog. Or even if you're like you're just out for work for the day, like all right, I got to hire a dog sitter or have someone like take the dog out to the bathroom or feed the dog, like all this like extra stuff. And it's like, man, I can barely like keep my own life together thinking about it.
Bingo. That's why I don't have one right now.
Trying to keep another dog straight. So it's funny. I was just a couple weeks ago, I was realizing that I'm like, oh, I like dogs, but not enough to actually probably ever get one as an adult. At least at this point, not with 2 kids running around. They're trouble enough. Maybe down the road when they're out of the house and we're lonely, it's like, all right, let's get some dogs, fill this void or something. But
see, my reason would be because working in vet care, I have seen how much it costs to adequately care for a pet. And let me tell you something.
It's insane.
If something were to happen to my pet and it needed an extensive procedure, I would literally be out on the streets.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I can't, at this point in my life right now, I cannot take that risk. I can't do it. Because that's all you need is for your pet to run up to you and turn wrong and tear an ACL or something like that, or throw a hip. $7,000, please. Absolutely.
It's like, no,
my boy, we've had a good run.
Yeah. Guess it's your time.
Guess it's your time, my boy.
Yeah. No, it's so true. That's the other thing. I just see all these hospital bills rack up and I'm like, no, thanks. I'm good. I could barely, keep my own stuff afloat.
Right.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get on to this last question here from Hophead Ed.
Hophead Ed asks, what is your Mount Rushmore of gas station snacks?
Your Mount Rushmore of gas station snacks.
He's going to ride that Mount Rushmore theme until there's nothing left to ask about.
I mean, it's been
What's
a
your
minute.
Mount Rushmore of computer search engines?
We haven't gotten a Mount Rushmore question in a while. I think it's because he did go through everything and then he had to try to brainstorm, like, what can I possibly
Now it's
ask?
non-video
So
game things.
anything
It's just, what's
Yeah.
your Mount Rushmore of bathroom soaps?
Don't give him ideas, Adrian. That'll be question next week. This was
got
kind
a
of a
couple.
tricky one for me because I don't go to the gas station often. I mean, when we go to the gas station, we go to like Costco because it's cheap. You know, we don't.
Okay, well, here, let me help you. Let me help you reframe
on
it.
on top of that, even when we're on like road trips, we tend to bring our own snacks because it's cheaper than like getting junk at a gas station. I do have an answer. I do have answers, but it's more from like past life, Garrett. If that makes sense.
Because I was gonna tell you to reframe it of like, you're on a road trip, you guys are stopping off at the gas station. What are you picking up for the rest of the trip? That's how I would have done it for you, because that's how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's basically what I've done is, you know, if before I was in the point of life I am right now, what I would do. So yeah, I have a few here, but if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do. Let's see. The caramel filled bugles. I don't know if you've ever had those.
No, I've only ever had savory bugles. I didn't know they had sweet ones.
Yep, there's a sweet one, and it's amazing. The I'm blanking on the name. There's a blue lemonade that I really, really like.
Like from a fountain, or is it like a bottled?
It's a bottle. Oh my God, I cannot remember the name right now, but it's so.
Selkies is in the chat, says Calypso.
Calypso, thank you, Selkies. Yes, blue Calypso lemonade. That's number 2. A fat Slim Jim, and Planner's Trail Mix, but the one with the pineapple and raisin pieces in it.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? It has to be Planners though, because they got the best peanuts.
Okay.
Yeah. You give me those, I'm good for another 8 hours on the road, brother. Let's do this.
Yeah, there you go. For me, let's see. I'm trying to Mount Rushmore. It'll be 4 picks, right? Okay. My first one, if I'm going with a drink, it's probably. Okay, back in the day, it was probably like a Red Bull. I loved a Red Bull, like especially like when they had like the blueberry editions one, like the blue one. That was my favorite one.
You're better than me. I can't stand them.
Oh, really? Oh,
no,
man, I love Red Bull so much. So probably if I was going for a drink, it'd be that. Pizza combos. I know it's basic, but man, it's classic for a reason, you know. It's pizza combos.
Not mad at it.
Peanut M&Ms. I love peanut M&Ms. I can just destroy a bag. There was probably about 6 months ago now. It was like around Christmas time. But for some reason they had like, it was like right after Christmas, they were getting rid of a bunch of like holiday candy, and they had like the family size pouches at Walmart of like the peanut M&Ms. Like the zip top and everything, and I got one, and boy, it was gone real quick. I just destroyed that thing. Big old yellow bag of M&Ms, so good. And my fourth one, I don't know if they have these everywhere. I only remember them from when I was in Wisconsin. They have a gas station called Quick Trip. I'm sure they have them in other gas stations, but my experience was in Wisconsin when I lived there. Quick Trips are everywhere. Quick Trip has the best food ever. Like, not just gas station snacks, but also just like hot food, cold food, soups, coffees. Like, they have the best food. Quick Trip is like top tier. People go nuts over Buc-ee's. Nah, it's got nothing on Quick Trip. Quick Trip's so good.
Those are some dangerous words.
I know. As I say,
people are dangerously loyal to Buc-ee's.
I'm in trouble now. Yeah, people are just head over heels for Buc-ee's and like Sheets, and I'm like, nah, it's got nothing on Quick Trip. My fourth one though is Tornadoes. It's basically.
Is it another name? Is it an East Coast name for something that we already have? Is that what?
Well, I mean, Wisconsin, that's Midwest. It's Midwest,
Okay.
so maybe. But it was always on like the roller belt. You go on, it's on the roller belt next to the hot dogs.
You mean taquitos?
It's called Tornadoes.
Hold
It was
on.
basically a taquito, but they had like a bunch of like crazy fun, like good flavors. I loved them. It's like a thick taquito. Like it was like more filling than just like, I don't know. When I think of taquito, I think of like thin shell, like just a little bit of like meat and cheese in there. These are like tornado's like a taquito, but it was like an inch thick and it was like stuffed full of cheese and meat and all sorts of stuff. They had like breakfast ones. So for breakfast, you get it with like egg, sausage, cheese. For lunch, they had like spicy, like pepper jack cheesy.
I'm so wary of gas station like actual food though. Like snacks are fine, but it's such a gamble. I feel like with actual food.
Oh, 100%. But man, yeah, tornadoes were the bomb. Selkie says crispy burrito. Then kind of. It's not as big as a burrito though. It's not that big. It's like it is just like a jumbo taquito. Not as big as a burrito, but like a bigger taquito, more stuffing to it. Like it was like, you'd bite into it. It was like smoking. It was always like 1,000,000 degrees. Like burn your mouth off. Cheese instantly just like burn, like coat the inside of your mouth. Is this napalm? Just like spray everywhere and stick, and you couldn't get it off. So it was like
you just gotta let it go.
It's like a bite of tornado and a big gulp of Red Bull to cool your mouth.
To save your mouth.
To save your mouth. But yeah, man, I would just destroy this. When I was a school bus driver, because when I was in Wisconsin, I was a school bus driver for a couple of years. And that was
I never knew that.
Yeah, I did that. Get this, I was 18 years old and I was driving a bunch of kids around in a school bus. Isn't that crazy? I was a kid. I was the same age as some of the high schoolers I was driving on that route, dude.
Boy, you learn something every day.
But yeah, so I was up at the butt crack of dawn to get going on the route, but I had a break between my high school route and my elementary route. And so I'd go to Quick Trip, park in the parking lot, and then go in, get a snack, sit on my bus and eat my breakfast basically until I have my Red Bull and tornado for breakfast until my
come on kids, I'm hyped up. I'm off my Red Bull. Let's go.
I wish that was that was how it went, but in reality, a lot of times I'd get back to base, park my bus, and be like, I don't remember my route at all. Like it's one of those things where like I was in college at the time. I was stupid. I'd stay up until like, I don't know, 2-3 in the morning and then go for my route at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. Go off for like 3-4 hours of sleep. I'd do a whole route and be like, the next thing you know, I'd almost like just come to as I'm getting back to like getting ready to head back to school for class.
Autopilot.
I'm like, oh shoot, like I don't remember anything that happened this morning. I remember waking up and now I'm here. Like I hope no one died. I hope everyone got to school. I hope I didn't miss any stops. Like because you have to memorize the whole route, like everywhere to go. Yeah, I did it for a couple of years. I'm like, this isn't for me. This is not for me. But
yeah, I would have never thought that. Before we go on, can I see your peanut M&Ms and can I raise you M&Ms Crispies? Because to me, M&Ms Crispies are the best M&Ms. Have you had these?
Yeah, I think once I might have had them. They're fine, but I like. There's something more about the not only does the peanut M&M have the crunch, but it also had like it's the peanut flavor as well, and it's that they're big. Like one M&M, like is almost like the size of like 3 normal M&Ms. So it's really like you're getting more bang for your buck. It feels like as far as like each bite is like there's more to it. So I don't know. I think peanut M&Ms just between the peanut flavor, the crunch, the size of it. I don't like the small size of M&Ms in my mouth.
You're telling me you don't like minis? The overall best M&M's minis? The ones that came in the little tube?
When I was a kid, I did. I haven't had them since.
Those are the undisputed champ. They don't make them anymore, unfortunately. But those are like the undisputed champ. That's the universal M&M champ right there. Is the M&M's minis.
I love them when I was younger. But now that I'm older, I don't know. And unfortunately, we'll never find out because you can't get them anymore. But when I was younger, yeah, I loved them a ton. But now, like, knowing now, like, as a kid, I didn't like peanut M&Ms. Now I like peanut M&Ms. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like I've come around. So I kind of feel like, yeah, I don't think, I think peanut M&Ms went out on that one. I don't know. Plank the skank says as well. Peanut butter M&Ms for the win.
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh wait, peanut butter is different. Oh, peanut butter M&Ms.
Peanut butter is different than peanut. They were actual peanut butter M&Ms.
I think I had those once and it was almost too much. Like I don't know.
Now,
I don't like.
See,
too
now you're
sweet.
talking crazy because now that's too much of a good thing.
I think that's what it is. I like peanut M&Ms because it's the saltiness of the peanut kind of balances it. Where like peanut butter gets too sweet for me, too much sugar. I don't like sweet things. I'm more of a savory snacker, anyways.
Right.
So peanut M&Ms is where it's at for me. That's the sweet spot.
I respect it. I can see that. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an M&M that I dislike. I think there's some that I like much more than others. But it's a great snack. Not as much these days. I'm old now. I can't really take too much. Like I probably have a few and be like, all right, who wants this? But in the heyday, we were knocking back the tubes of the minis back to back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just washing them down with some Coke. You know what I mean?
It's good stuff.
Good times.
Sorry, I got distracted there. I just had to ban someone from the chat. The fun stuff over here on the live stream. You're missing out. Twitch.tv/SuperGamerBoys.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Gas station snacks. Thanks for that, Eddie. Thanks for getting us so far off topic that now, how do we ever talk about video games?
I want a Calypso lemonade so bad ever since I said that, man. It would hit so good because it's 1.5 million degrees right now. And I'm dying.
Yeah. That's true. It's true. The Calypso, all the Calypso drinks, not just the lemonades. They have other ones too, right?
They do.
Like other flavors.
Uh-huh.
They're all so good. They're all lemonades, right? But they're just like different flavored lemonades.
Different kinds. Yeah. But the blue one is the best one.
Very good. All right.
Just acidic enough too, to where it's like, oh, yeah, I can feel a little bit of the burn in it.
Yeah. I like that. Because some people like more sweet lemonade. I'm not as, again, I like the sour. I like to bite me a little bit. You know, I want to feel alive. I want to feel alive when I drink lemonade.
Yeah, I want my lemonade to bite me a little bit. I want my lemonade to tease me a little bit. You
know, you just don't feel alive unless your lemonade kind of gives you a little zap. You know,
you need to take a lap, my guy. You need to take a lap real quick. Go hit a cold shower, not with water, not lemonade, please.
Soaking says, this MF out here eating raw lemon and same tasty lemonade. Oh my gosh. Yep, you got me. Oh man. I'm like freaking Gray Fox, Metal Gear Solid, you know? Don't feel alive unless I'm in battle against
talking to lemonade. Hurt me more.
That's what I yell at my lemonade when I drink it. Hurt me more.
We gotta talk about something else, please.
All right, it's that time of the show. I don't even know. How do we intro this? I don't even remember how we intro this. It's Adrian.
It's time for the
nerdy dudes.
I can't do it.
It's time for the nerdy dudes.
Yes, it is. Go.
Oh, we're not gonna get it. Oh wow.
I can't get it. I got the chuckles too bad. Just thinking about you. Feel like when you get lemonade, you turn the lights down a little bit. Start pouring it all slow. Oh, it's gonna be some good lemonade.
I think that's the funnier thing. It's not even lemonade. It's just that little, little squeeze bottle that looks like a lemon. It's just full of lemon juice. I'm just
taking it straight to the head.
Just taking shots of straight lemon juice out of the lemon bottle.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Okay.
Wow.
First story.
Here we go. It's now time for the nerdy
Rein it
news.
in.
Stupid
Rein it in.
doo. Here we are.
Success playing Barry White while you play it, or while you pour your lemonade.
100%. Absolutely. Okay, we're back. This first news story comes to us from Game Rant, written by Adiz Gunner. Sony may be working on native PS3 backwards compatibility. Rumor coming in hot. Sony could be working on a solution to make PlayStation 3 games natively playable on PS5 consoles, according to recent claims made by a reputable insider. Despite some of Sony's latest efforts to remedy this issue, the PS5's underwhelming backwards compatibility has been a consistent point of criticism for the otherwise impressive current-gen consoles, in large part because most games from previous PlayStation generations, sans the PS4 era, aren't playable on the PS5. If this rumor is to be believed, though, then Sony might finally fix one of the biggest flaws with its current hardware offering by providing native support for PlayStation 3 games on PS5.
We did it, boys. We made it.
We did it.
We're back.
Hopefully.
PS3 back on the menu, on the map.
Fingers crossed, at least. Although Sony does sometimes add ports of older PlayStation games to the PS Plus Premium Classic catalog, what a mouthful. PlayStation Now is nice, you know? Just PS Now is easy to say. Now it's PS Plus Premium Classics catalog. The PS5
you could just say PSN and we'll get it.
We'll get it. The PS5's backwards compatibility still leaves a lot to be desired. After all, the large majority of PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, and PS Vita games are not playable on modern PlayStation platforms. In fact, titles from those console generations that can be played on Sony's latest hardware often come with caveats. For one, these classic games are only available digitally on the platform, meaning that the original physical copies of these titles aren't supported by the PS5. Additionally, in the case of PS3 games, gamers need to be persistently connected to the internet to play them on PS5, as they're only available via cloud streaming. While PlayStation owners might not be able to insert and run their PS2 disc on the PS5s anytime soon, they may soon have the _ability to play PS3 games on Sony's modern consoles without having to stream them through the cloud. That's at least according to the credible insider Special Nick, who alleged on the latest episode of the Xbox Era podcast that Sony is reportedly planning to make PS3 games natively playable on the PS5. The reputable leaker's sources apparently told him that Sony is working on select PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility for the PS5. The word select in this context seemingly indicates that Sony will individually handpick some PS3 titles to make playable on the PS5, similar to what Microsoft did with the backwards compatible games on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. When this was mentioned, a chat member from the live streamed podcast brought up the idea of PS3 games potentially having their frame rates and resolutions boosted on the PS5. However,
let's not get crazy. Hold on.
Yeah,
now.
right.
You're asking Sony to
down.
do a lot of work here.
Calm down.
All right.
However, when asked, Special Nick said that he wasn't exactly sure about the specifics. I didn't get any more details than that. Will it have an FPS boost? I've got no idea. All I heard was Sony was working on selective PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility. There are many great PlayStation 3 exclusives that are sadly still trapped on the 18-year-old console, like Infamous, Metal Gear Solid 4, and Killzone 2. All three of those are bangers. Oh man, if we could play those again, ooh-wee! Killzone 2, so good. Being able to play these games natively on PS5 would be a dream come true for many PlayStation fans. So hopefully this rumor does end up being true. Adrian.
What's up, my
There's
man?
a freaking jet flying over my house right now. It's so loud.
That's what you get living that SoCal lifestyle.
One moment, please.
I can't hear it on my end. I'm gonna have to take your word
I know,
for
but the recording will definitely have it. Those podcast listeners are gonna be like, "What the heck is Garrett mowing his lawn while he's recording the podcast?" How
This is fantastic
do you think
news.
this is? Do you think this? I know it's good news, but do you think this is legit? I mean, supposedly this guy is a reputable leaker.
Now, if
What
it
else
was
has he
still,
leaked? That's what I want to know.
if it was still Jim Ryan era, I'd have probably said, "Ain't no way this is happening." But we got two co-CEOs that probably share very little with him, so I could see them as this one of their being one of their first acts of leadership is to start to invest in that. The only problem with that is, though, if you're going to do PS3 native, why wouldn't you say you're going to do PS2 native or PS1 native at this point? Those are easier, I feel like, to do than PS3. And you can say, yeah, they got a couple of things that you could download on the store, but I'm talking about let me put my PS2 disc in and essentially my PS5 turns into a PS2.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason they would start with PS3 is because for so long that has been the one that everyone's like, why isn't this available? You're right. Like PS2 and PS1 would probably be easier, but man, like I feel like the freaking fanfare of when they announce, hey, guess what? These PS3 games, like people are gonna lose their minds. Like people would be excited about PS1 and 2, but PS3, I think that's probably if this is where they're starting, it makes sense because people are going to be like, holy crap, PlayStation's turn over a new leaf. Like this is absolutely bonkers.
I don't know how
crazy.
to feel right now.
We never thought it was going to happen. Like, and here we are. That's the only reason I can think they would start with 3 is just from that point of view of like, all right, if they could really win people over with this. And my worry is so many like Sony is very much, they like this excuse. They use it all the time is, that initiative didn't pan out quite as well as we thought it was going to. Didn't get the results we were hoping for, make the money we thought it was going to. So, yeah, we're not gonna port any more PS3 games, and we're not gonna like that. Maybe they never do PS2 or PS1. That's my biggest worry with this whole thing. If this is real.
But I'm not asking them to port the games. I'm just asking them to make an emulator that I can play the games in. That's it. Make the thing that lets me play the game and then leave it alone. I'm not even asking you to up-res or to increase the frame rates. Just let me play them the way that they originally ran, at least. But we're not even getting that.
But that's what the leak is saying is basically just a select number of PS3 games are gonna like. So they're not porting it, but they're basically making an emulator that's specific to those games. So in a sense, they're porting it. Is what it sounds like. The fact that
why not make it universal? Let it run all the PS3 games.
I don't know why. That's what
Xbox did.
Yeah. Well, Xbox started out with one-offs as well. They would kind of like here's a batch of games, here's a batch of games. They kind of let it out in batches.
Right, but they still did it over time until they got pretty much the majority of the Xbox and 360 libraries. But if this is only going to be for like 10 or 12 games on PS3, then it's not even worth doing it.
And that's what I'm saying though. I think if it's successful, then they will continue to do it. But that's my worry is like, all right, what if they launch this? Everyone's stoked about it, but then like they look at the numbers like, it's not quite what we were hoping for, so we're not going to continue.
But they already went into this knowing that this is a project that they're not going to make money off, right? You're not going to sell the games per se. You're just letting people play the games that they already have.
Right.
Right.
Unless they're thinking of bringing back like classic games to the PSN store.
Boy. You mean just like the way they've been doing it for PS2, all six of the games that they have on there?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Selkies in the chat says, I think they're looking at the emulation situation. PS and PS2 are easy to emulate and no one would take advantage as much as they'd hope. That makes sense. So as far as them doing this for PS3 and not doing it for PS2 and PS1, it's easy to emulate PS2 and PS1 almost anywhere. Like it's kind of incredible now. Like
it's so easy. Why don't they do it?
Well, no, but that's I think the idea is like PS3 isn't available, so like for them to come in and almost be like the savior in a sense, like finally someone's figured it out. Like Sony themselves are doing it for PS3. Like this is going back to the beginning conversation of like why PS3 to start with. I think Selki's kind of nailed it with that. Where yeah, if people want to play PS1 or PS2 games, most people already have their setups with emulators. They're probably going to stick with it for the most part. Obviously, you know, and again, they're not going to make money off of this. We've already said that. So why not start with the thing that isn't widely available and is going to get way more hype?
Fair. That's fair.
Selkies goes on to say, would almost feel like a waste of time and money for that matter. Yeah, exactly. To kind of do PS1, PS2. Obviously, I would hope they'd eventually do it, but
I don't see this as anything as I see it as more of an investment. Like if you told somebody, hey, this is PS5, right? Or later on, it'll be PS6, right? And you tell them, you know, hey, if you're a longtime PlayStation fan and you've still got your old games, any old game that you get will still work when you put it into your PS6. I see that as nothing but a win. It's not, is it going to make people buy the console? Absolutely not. But is it going to help sway your opinion? Who knows? knowing that
Yeah.
all the games that I bought, I can just pop them in and still play them as much as I want to. That's a huge deal. People got thousands of dollars invested in their game libraries, tens of thousands for some. So you telling me I could take it with me, no problems, no questions asked, as long as I have the disc? Let's do it.
Yeah, my hope would be as well for them to continue on and do all of them, because like one of the biggest hangups with the PS3 generation coming to other consoles in the future has been, their biggest excuse is like the architecture they built on was crap. It was like it's
unfortunately
stuck. Yeah, it was the foundation of everything was bad from the beginning, and hard to work with, difficult to work with for developers. And so it would be incredible if they come out with a PS3, they come out with PS2, PS1, because at this point they've kind of come up with a standardized platform that is more usable, not even just on PlayStation, but anywhere. Like everything kind of like Xbox and PlayStation are all kind of using the same foundations nowadays. Everything's using the same architecture, similar CPUs, similar GPUs. So it's like, man, like if they were to go all in and design those things, they could potentially be set for the next couple decades. Like they could use that same emulator for in perpetuity, because it would just continue to work on the PS6, on the PS7, on the PS8 until architectures change, which they do occasionally. But I don't know, they found a good thing with the PS4 and they've stuck with it now for 2 generations. Why change now? Unless there's limitations that show up. Man, there's all freaking air show happening outside my house.
Well, the 4th is close by, so they're probably just warming up for stunt pilot shows. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not such a bad thing to invest in, lay some goodwill groundwork and, get a project like that going. So hopefully it turns out to be true. I would love PS3 games to be natively playable. I told you when we were talking before the show, I said, if this turns out to be true and Sony formally announces it, I'll buy a disc drive that day. Because I got dozens of PS3 games that I would love to not have to pull out my 15-pound PS3 for.
Right.
And only have to use my 10-pound PS5 to play.
I know it's a long shot, but because at this point it's most likely a physical thing, like where you put in a disc and then it plays. But I would love, because I don't have a very big physical I only have one PS3 game physical. But man, my digital library was massive. If I could access that on my PS5, if my digital library came back, baby, that would be insane. That's what I never know. I hope would come out of this as well. Not only do they allow physical games to be played, but the ability to access your PS3 digital library. It'd be so good. I have a feeling it's not the case, but they're gonna.
No,
if they brought back a digital library, they'd probably make me rebuy everything, which is stupid. But
it's just fun to dream.
It's fun to dream. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes and ears open. If there's anything to this, you guys will be the first to know. We'll let you know. But boy, I hope it's true. I hope it's real. All right. This next news story comes to us from Windows Central, written by Zach Bowden. The Xbox that never was, our first detailed look at the Keystone cloud streaming console design. Back in 2021, Microsoft announced that it was working on a dedicated streaming device for Xbox Game Pass. That device was later revealed to be codenamed Keystone, which took the form of a streaming box that would sit under your TV, cost a fraction of the price of a normal Xbox, and enable the ability to play Xbox games via the cloud. Unfortunately, it appears Microsoft has since scrapped plans to ship Xbox Keystone due to an inability to bring the price down to a level where it made sense for customers. Xbox CEO Phil Spencer is on record saying the device should have costed around $99 or $129, but the company was unable to achieve this. This means we never really got a chance to see what Xbox Keystone looked like. The closest we ever got was in a photo posted by Phil Spencer, which just so happened to include a front-on view of the Xbox Keystone device on a shelf. That's as much as we've ever seen of the console. That is, until now. Thanks to a patent discovered by Windows Central, we can finally take a closer look at the box Microsoft had conjured up internally. First up, the patent reveals that the console took the form of an even square with a circle shape on top, similar to the black circular vent on an Xbox Series S. The front of the box had the Xbox power button and a USB-A port. Around the back, there were 3 additional ports, HDMI, Ethernet, and power. On the right side of the console, there appears to be an Xbox controller pairing button. And on the other side, it featured a circular Hello from Seattle plate that the console sat on, similar to the Xbox Series X. This patent was filed in June 2022, which was around the time when the first details of Xbox Keystone were being revealed. Sadly, Xbox Keystone in the specific form is unlikely to ever see the light of day, but at least we now know what it would have looked like. So don't know much about what powered things under the hood, including what kind of OS or firmware it ran. Was it a full-fledged Xbox OS with local game support stripped out? Or was it running something lighter with an Xbox Game Pass app on top? Currently don't know and likely never will. Microsoft has given up on its Xbox Keystone console, at least for now, but that doesn't mean they've given up on the cloud. The biggest barriers to cloud right now revolve around the business model. Running cloud gaming service 24/7 is incredibly expensive, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate at $15 per month doesn't cover the cost by itself. At least in theory, in-game purchases and outright game purchases would help improve business models to some degree. But gatekeeper companies like Apple and Google work hard to prevent that business model from evolving. Microsoft is known to be working on a mobile gaming store for Android and iOS of its own, but I have absolutely no idea how they're going to get people to download it. It won't appear on Android and iOS by default, which, much like cloud gaming, doesn't, and audience across mobile expect ease of access as a North Star. So this goes on. There's a lot more here, but basically it goes on to say, like, as a whole with the cloud gaming, it's been a great leap for Microsoft and for gaming in general, but there's no easy path forward, I guess is what I was going to say. Like, yeah, they can, they mentioned that there's apps, there's apps on Samsung devices coming soon. There's an app coming to Amazon Fire Stick devices and stuff like that, but not without a turtles. Like, I didn't realize that Google was giving them a fit as well for the cloud gaming app. Like, I knew Apple was, like, that's been an issue for a while, but yeah, I didn't realize that Google's kind of giving them a run for their money as well as far as getting the cloud gaming going. But yeah, so not so much of a breaking news story here, but more of like a little bit of an interesting kind of peek behind the curtain that, oh yeah, I'd kind of forgotten that the Keystone was even a thing until this popped up. I'm like, oh yeah, we talked a lot about this, how like I talked about, like, if it came out, I would 100% buy one. Like, I was so stoked to be able to, all right, I can play my Xbox games without having to shell out hundreds of dollars.
A few hundred, yeah.
Do you think there's any chance though that, because tech is always moving forward. This article made the future seem bleak for Keystone, but do you think there's a chance that they revisit it down the way? Like, if hurdles continue to come up with these other storefronts and stuff, do you think they try to revisit it and try to make it cheaper, or do you think it's pretty much like, nah, like we've wasted enough money, we're moving on?
I think Keystone has changed. I don't think it's been canceled per se. I think Keystone has been turned into or morphed into whatever this handheld they have coming out. I think we talked about that before.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what happened to Keystone is they were like, why are we making a handheld and making a streaming box when we can just make one thing that can do both things?
Yeah. 100%. So sell it with a dock. So then if you want to play on your TV, you dock it. Right. Otherwise, it's just in your handheld.
Or you can stream your games to the handheld wherever you want to go. If you didn't download them, but you still wanted to play something else, you still could. Yeah, I feel like that's the answer right there.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that's a great point. Yeah, it's not that it's gone. It's just kind of morphed and changed, which makes sense because not. Like a few years ago, the novel thing was the cloud streaming. And a few years ago, we were all, during COVID, locked inside our homes and stuff like that. So everyone's just like, all right, how do we just play things at home? There's console shortages. Like, what if I just want like a cheap little, like, be able to stream it? Easier is, ease of access, basically. Having it accessible to everyone, price point and product wise, like just being able to like, have something that anyone can use. It's easy to use. But, I like that idea. Handheld makes a lot more effort to morph into that, which I hope there's legs to that. Like, we talked about that rumor a couple weeks ago, but it seems like that's pretty legit. But boy, I hope so. It'd be awesome to see a Xbox.
Yeah, that's just
handheld.
my most likely theory. We'll see how it shakes out.
But I also get to where like Xbox would just continue to pursue releasing apps on storefronts, you know, like it makes a lot of sense for them to just release a Steam app. So then on your Steam Deck, you can access it, or release a, like they're coming out with the Amazon Fire Stick, come out with one for Google Chromecast. Like PlayStation just came out with they just released the Remote Play app for Chromecast. Which works incredibly. I think I talked about that like a month or so ago. So imagine if Game Pass added an app on Google Chromecast. Oh man, then I wouldn't have to buy a box. I could just use my device I already have. It might be cheaper in the long run to keep pursuing that. I mean, I think there's a reason. Yeah, they partner up with Samsung and they have the app native on those TVs. But I don't know. There's something about having a device though made by the company. You know, because you can because not only it just tends to just work. It just works, you know, like even with my Chromecast, there can be like little weird glitches in the operating system, or, you know, or in an Amazon Fire Stick or a Samsung TV. Like, well, okay. Like with a Samsung Smart TV, I had a Samsung Smart TV I bought, I don't know, it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago at this point. But after like 2 or 3 years, a lot of the menus and apps stop working. Like the OS gets so old, it can't even like connect to the server and stuff. So it's like, all right, you spend $3,000 on like or $2,000, like whatever, like high-end 4K OLED TV, whatever, QLEDs, like they're not cheap. So say I had the money to invest in like a nice theater room, and I specifically bought Samsung because I wanted this app. And then in like 4 or 5 years, all of a sudden it's like, sorry, it's not compatible with this version of the Samsung TV. Like that would suck. So that's where like having something like the Keystone would be awesome, because you know it's just gonna work, and probably for a much longer lifespan than your TV or an Amazon Fire Stick or something, right? But
yeah,
I don't know.
I guess rest in peace for an item that never really was.
Never saw.
And welcome to the world, the new form of whatever it's going to be put into. Yeah, and we'll just have to wait and see.
We will see. All right, this last news story comes to us from IGN, written by Wesley Yinpool. Konami's Metal Gear series producer says it would be a dream to work with Hideo Kojima again. Hideo Kojima left Konami and the Metal Gear series he created 9 years ago, but for the person now producing the franchise, it would be a dream to have the legendary developer back in the fold. As reported by VGC, Konami's Metal Gear series producer Noriaki Okamura said on a recent live stream published to YouTube that, personally speaking, he'd love to work with Kojima again on Metal Gear. But just speaking for myself, personally, I'd like nothing better than to work with Mr. Kojima and the rest of the team again, Okamura said. If that could happen, that would be the dream. But people have moved on to new things and new commitments, and that's just our current reality. We can't just take it for granted that everyone would work with us again, or let ourselves be completely dependent on them. Of course, it seems extremely unlikely that Hideo Kojima will work on Metal Gear again after his high-profile exit from Konami amid the launch of Metal Gear Solid 5 in September 2015. Kojima went on to take his studio, Kojima Productions, into new intellectual property territory with the release of Death Stranding, and is now working on a sequel among a number of other projects. There's even a Death Stranding movie in the works. Perhaps mindful of that, Okamura said it was up to Konami's in-house Metal Gear team to do a good job with new entries in the series, including the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, which was the focus of the live stream. So I saw this pop up over the weekend, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if he would, like, he just has so much on his plate now, you know, Kojima does. Like,
yeah, it wouldn't be instant.
Back? The bad blood, like, I don't know. I feel like there could be issues with, you know, if there's potentially people there who he has issues with. But would it be a dream?
For old time's sake, for nostalgia, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Like, as a huge fan of the series, it would be pretty incredible. But also as a fan of the Metal Gear series, my fear is, like, because Metal Gear Solid 5 is my least favorite Metal Gear. I do not like it, mainly because of the gameplay. My biggest fear is, like, Kojima would get in there and he would expand on that, because he loved Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, he thought this was like, he was finally able to do things that supposedly he wanted to do all along. And so to me, it's like, oh no, like what if like 6 comes out, Kojima's somehow working on it or working alongside them, and it is just more like 5. And I'm like, no, like, I don't know. It scares me. It scares me at all to add anything to Metal Gear, the Metal Gear series. Like, I almost don't want them to ever come out with a Metal Gear game again. I'm fine with remasters and remakes. Like, I don't know if I'd want more of a story, just because I'd be worried about the gameplay wise, like what it would look like.
I think that's where most people are. It's like, we're good with the 5 that we got. If you want to remake them, go ahead. But if Kojima is not at the head of it, I don't want any more mainline Metal Gear games. I'm all right.
But even with Kojima at the head, that's what I'm saying. Like, even like, because 5 I didn't like, and it's like my fear is like, even if Kojima was working on 6, let's say, it would just be more of 5.
I don't think so. I think 6 would be. It would take place after 4, so it would have to play like the original Metal Gears, where it was more stealth based, espionage based. So
right. My other kind of hope and dream with this is if he did ever team up with them, like I know, that was the other point I just said was like, oh, he probably never will because he's busy. He's got a lot of projects on his hand. But Kojima Productions is always like, they're constantly growing. I mean, they've been going on a hiring streak for months now. They've been pushing. I've been seeing stuff on LinkedIn in my process of looking for a job. I keep seeing them posting stuff. Hey, we're still hiring. Like, they're expanding aggressively. It's like, oh man, imagine a world where they have multiple teams. They got Team A working on Death Stranding 2, Team B working on OD, Team C maybe doing like pre-production on Sigint or whatever that new, like the Fizzant. PlayStation exclusive Fizzant or whatever it's called, and then like a D team that's like almost like an internal like Blue Point studio where they just do remasters and remakes, and they go and or not even remaster remakes, but that's like the Metal Gear team that teams up with Konami. Like the D team is like, hey, yeah, you get contracted to Konami, and so Kojima is in a sense working on these Metal Gear games. Oh, that would be cool. That would be so awesome just to see him back at the helm. But,
yeah, I feel like you said, with his schedule these days, I think it'd make more sense for him to just be kind of a consultant.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah, I mean,
that way he can still get his input and make sure, everything is looking good. He can say, oh, this is cool, fix this sucks, I wouldn't have done this,
Yeah, between all the games he's working on, I mean, they even mention it in the article too. Like, they got a movie they're working on. They have a Kojima Productions, like a video branch. Like they're branching out into like a full, like, to do TVs and movies. So it's like he's got a lot on his plate. I don't think he's worried about going and working on stuff, other people's issues and projects at this point.
I will say that I do like that it's more likely than ever that it could happen now, because all the people that Kojima had bad blood with in that whole Konami fallout, from what I'm understanding, are pretty much gone. And all the people that are left are like, we didn't really have anything to do with that stuff. We really like Kojima. If he wants to come back, we're down.
Yeah. Man.
So the ball's really in his court at this point.
Kojima needs to buy Konami.
How much is Konami worth?
A lot, probably. I'm sure it's a lot.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say 175.
175 what?
Million.
So on the stock market, I guess, is that what this is? Konami Group ADR. Japanese multinational entertainment company, video game developer, worth $10.33 billion.
Well,
so yeah, it's worth a lot. The market. So yeah, how much is Konami's net worth? The market cap is 9.66. So I don't know what the difference between why these two websites have two different numbers. Somewhere between 9 and 10 billion, basically. They're worth a lot. It'd be extremely expensive to buy them.
Woo. But
that would be sick. Imagine if Kojima just one day gets big enough, he's just like, I'm gonna buy you.
You never know, dude.
Suddenly he has all of those IPs that he worked on under his control and more to actually like do stuff with, Oh man. I doubt that would ever happen, but One can dream. One can dream.
One day, keep hope alive.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for our news stories. Now it's time for our Patreon ad.
Let's do it.
This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right. $1 a month gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. Gets you Patreon exclusive episodes, such as Super Later Boys, previous season Super Gamer Book Club. Just all around, it's a great kind of entry-level tier. Test out, see if you like what we got for you, and then move up from there. Like into our $5 a month level, where you can get that previous perk, episodes early and ad-free, Patreon exclusive shows, and $5 a month level gets you up to be able to see the show notes each and every episode, so you can see exactly what we're going to be talking about, what games we'll be playing, what listener questions are, what news stories we're going to be talking about. Leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, everything right on the doc, so that way we can see it and we can read it right here on air. For the first time in the history of Super Gamer Boys Patreon, someone actually commented last week. I think it was Kojima. He mentioned something, and it was amazing. So, hey, if you're $5 above on Patreon, make sure you're checking out those show notes if you're interested, and leave your stuff on there. We'll read it. It's fun. It's fun to get those right there on the show notes. $10 a month, you can get all those previous perks, and you get a shout out at the top of each and every episode. You might have noticed at the top we shouted out, Julie Bates, Mama Mayor, Carrie. Those are our Super Gamer sponsors. So that's a $10 tier, Super Gamer sponsor tier. Think about supporting us there. And then the top dog tier, we got $15 a month as a Patreon producer. You get all of those previous perks I have mentioned, and the ability to pitch us a show segment. If you have a brilliant idea, you're like, guys, this is going to be the best segment for the show, or a spinoff, or something from our social media, whatever it might be. You got a fun idea. That either it would be super cool to see us do, super cool to see us talk about, or just to make fun of us or make our lives living hell, then support us at $15 a month. And I recommend pitching the segment, or at least running it by us before that, because if we that way we can make sure it's a-okay. We've had some reasons now that we need to vet things before we get them. But if it's good to go, support us, and then we'll go ahead and launch that show out. And we've had a lot of fun over the years, from losing reviews where we were forced to watch bad movies, then review them here on the show. Adrian had Super Indie Boys, where he talked about indie games each and every week. It was a in-show segment, and then later spun off after he joined our team as a YouTube segment. So, and then all the other ones we've gotten a couple from Kojima, whether it's Kojima's Card Game Corner over on our social media, or Tall Tales with JJ, the ill-fated show segment. Rest in peace, Tall Tales. But so think about supporting us over on Patreon. We'd appreciate it. We got a level for any level you could ever want, starting at $1 all the way up to $15. We got you covered. Whatever you can afford. We're very thankful for it. All the support helps tremendously with keeping the lights on, keeping the mics on, and helping us continue to make cool content for you guys. Let's go on tier to sgbstore.com. You can support us at. It's not launched yet. I'm hoping this week. Here's a little teaser for you guys that may or may not come true. I'm hoping this week to have the shop launching. We're just waiting on photography, and I'm being lazy because it's also been like 90 something degrees outside, which is, some may say is perfect for the photo shoot, but honestly for me, it's
maniacs.
It's been toasty out there. But stay tuned. Hopefully this week there will be announcements on social media when it goes live, so don't worry about that. But we got hats, we got shirts, we got stickers, we got all sorts of coffee mugs. We're going to have some fun stuff. So sgbstore.com, bookmark that. So hopefully you'll be able to catch some new merch, hopefully soon. And then last but not least, twitch.tv/the Super Gamer Boys. You're probably watching here live on Monday nights, but if you're not, you should be. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account and use your free Prime gaming subscription on our channel. Cost you $0 and we get $5 out of it. That's right. Typically a sub is $5. Help support our channel, but if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can use your free Prime gaming subscription. Cost you nothing and helps support our channel. And you get access to our emotes to use all across Twitch on all the channels and our own. And then you also get ad-free viewing. So if you're here watching on Twitch, you don't have to deal with the ad that probably happened like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. That is out of our control, unfortunately. So... well, there's one right there. I just heard it in my ears. Thank you so much for Kojima for the resub right there. See, showing you how it's done. So if you're watching live, go do that. If you're listening to this later on YouTube or on podcast apps, go over to twitch.tv/SuperGamerBoys. Drop that Prime Gaming sub. We'd very, very much appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, it's that time.
Yes, sir.
What have you been playing this week?
Boy, do I got a 1-2 punch for you, my boy,
Ooh, baby.
my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! All right, sorry. So there's 2 games I've been playing this week that I have been waiting to go on sale, and it finally did. I would have bought it full price, but I don't know. Things just didn't line up. And the other one just came out, but this one that I've been looking forward to for a while. So the first one is called Later Alligator. And what? You look like you know it.
I think I know this one. Let me look it up real quick.
So for the uninitiated,
I think I own this one. I think I picked it up.
Yeah.
Never
Later
played it.
Alligator
I've
is a
never played
narrative. A Later Alligator is a narrative detective kind of deal. It's a visual novel, but the fun thing about it is the world that it takes place in, the city, everyone is an alligator. So they're all alligator. You are an alligator as the quote unquote investigator. And the best part about it is it's hand drawn. So yeah.
Cool
So
style.
There's a small studio that did all the art. They did full on animations, the whole 9 yard, and it's from start to finish hand animated, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the dialogue is fun. It's charming, and I haven't gotten too far into it, but I'm definitely liking the stuff that I've already played. If you own a Switch, it's on sale right now for like $4.50, so that's a no-brainer. Wow. Yeah. So that finally made me go ahead and jump on that one. Please check this game out. It is so good, and I feel like it's flying under the radar. I barely hear anybody talk about this, but it's been on my wish list ever since it was announced. So that's the first one. And then the second one is one that I have got a chance to play for a little bit. And this one is #Blood. But it's #BL. What's that?
I was gonna say, you talked about this in our Discord.
Oh yes, dude. So it's #BLUD, and it's an adventure game that is kind of styled after, I'd say, maybe like a Link to the Past, where you play as a monster hunter, vampire hunter, and vampires are starting to take over the town and various monsters and whatnot. And you play as a young teenage vampire slayer or monster slayer. And you post your encounters or things that you find on the new social media website to kind of just like document your trip, and friends comment on your posts, and all this different stuff happens. And there's a whole combat system where you get weapons and upgrades and new moves and stuff like that. And then the kicker about this one is kind of like Later Alligator. This one is also hand drawn too, but it's modeled after the styling of like a 1990s Saturday morning cartoon, or like one of the major cartoons from that era. And the animation in this game is so stunningly good. Like the first cutscene, it feels like it could be a movie quality animation. That's how good it is. And then they keep that quality so far throughout the whole thing. Even when you get hit, it's rare to see levels of quality like this. And then for that, not only that, for it to be a fun and interesting and engaging game, it's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, you're not kidding about the art style too. Like it's gorgeous. Like when I was watching the trailer, I thought it was just like, oh, this is just an animated trailer. But then it was showing gameplay. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
The game looks like this too. It's straight up. Yeah, it looks like a 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, kind of like Cartoon Network cartoon. Like that's what it reminds me of. I'm like, oh baby, like it's so good. It is so beautiful. They nailed that art style, the color palette, everything. Oh yeah.
And both of these pop so good on the Switch OLED too.
Oh, I bet.
Oh man. Yeah. So do yourself a favor, pick up both of these games if you can. Absolutely worth every penny. I played #Blood at Day of the Devs and was able to talk to a couple of members of the dev team, and they seem like really good folks that really care about their end product, and it definitely shows. So please support these. Play indies. They absolutely rule.
Yes.
Yeah. But enough about me. I've been yapping for far too long. Mr. Morlang, what have you? Oh, shoot. I'm going to ask you what you've been playing, but there's something that we both have been playing that is very important to me, that I have been waiting since I was a literal child to be able to play. So I'll let you go.
Well, we got to play, and actually Eddie is over on YouTube watching right now. That's right. We stream on both Twitch and YouTube. What's up, Eddie? We played some Legend of Zelda. Is this called Four Swords?
Four Swords? Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like, I because the box says A Link to the Past, but it says with Four Swords. So I assume it's like a separate game almost. Because it's a Game Boy Advance game, now added to the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online package. And we got together with Eddie, you, me, and Connor from Super NPC Radio. Call Me By Your Game. That's his show. Fantastic. Go check it out. And boy, oh boy, it was pretty seamless linking up. And then as soon as we got going, that game, I've not played a lot of Zelda games. I've talked about that on the show. Like I've played like Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, like more like I don't have, my breadth of Zelda is not very wide. I only recently played Link to the Past when it was for the Super Nintendo, for the Super Gamer Book Club. You made me play it. So like, I don't have a lot of experience with Zelda really. And then jumping into that, I'm like, oh, it felt so right. Like, even though obviously Zelda is generally just a one player game, jumping in there, I'm like, I don't know, this feels really good. Why is it more kind of fun? Why aren't more Zelda games multiplayer? Because this is really fun. Like just bombing around, helping each other, whacking each other with swords. Like the puzzle on like a couple maps was kind of really ambiguous and tricky. But then there was a couple ones like, oh, okay, like, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. And like the combat was fun, like working together on the boss fights. I love the boss fights. What was that? That last one we did was like the flower heads, and it was spinning
where
around,
it kept spinning,
and it would change different colors because each of your links are different colors. And so it also turned blue. So only the blue link could do damage to it. So like also the blue link would go up there and hit him, with a sword. And then, oh, now it's green. Now it's red. Now it's yellow. It's like, oh, that's such a cool mechanic. Like to add that little bit of like, all right, it's forcing you to work as a team. You can't just have one person like sit back and be like, oh, I'm just going to be back here throwing bombs. It's like, no, everyone get up here in the fray. Everyone's fighting. And Eddie over on YouTube says the best was when Adrian got stranded for 5 minutes. Yeah, we all had the flying power except for Adrian, and we forgot about him on the platform.
I was like, you could at least throw me across the chasm over there. Good grief.
Yeah, that was really funny. We were all just like, Adrian, were you coming over here? And you're like, I'm stuck. And we're like, oh shoot, okay. You can run back over there, chuck you across the gap.
Man.
But yeah, that's a fun thing. Like being able to work together in that way where you can like pick each other up, throw each other around, tag team abilities, stuff like that. It's such a cool mechanic especially for a Game Boy Advance game. Like I don't know. They did a lot with that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been literally waiting to play that game since I was a kid, since when it first, came out. Well, not necessarily a kid, maybe like a young teen, but still, it's been a very long time, and that's literally been on my list of things. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to hook up 4 Game Boys and play this game, and in a sense, we pretty much did that. So I'm looking forward to the next time we get to play it. But I had a ball, and it is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be, the experience I thought I was going to have. So I'm over the moon about that.
Yeah.
So
good times. I've also been playing, I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after 97 hours.
I'm so jealous.
So I think my PlayStation said like something wild, like 150, but I think that's counting the PlayStation
Staying
itself
on menus.
counts like even like sleep time, or not sleep time, but like times I would just leave it running in the pause menu, where the in-game clock only counted like gameplay, like running around the world and stuff like that. So the PlayStation said like 150 hours, like there's no way that's right. And then I like looked at my save clock and like, all right, 97. It was almost 98. It was like just shy of 98, which is wild because I was going, I never in a million years would have thought I'd spend that much time in one game, especially with just my lifestyle and time. Like the amount of time I have nowadays to play video games, it's like I try to get in and out in most cases. The fact that I spent 97 hours and loved like 99% of that time.
That's a testament to the game.
So good. So incredible. Yeah, I was able to finish it with clearing all the different sections, the world sections and stuff like that, all the side quests and getting all the extra gear. I didn't do like hard mode stuff. But you can do New Game Plus. That's what's cool. Like I can jump back in and keep playing with all my current experience and gear if you want to. So it's like
just
if I wanted to go
through
back and start doing like go through like replay chapters. Like it actually opens up a chapter select menu. So I can just go to any chapter I want and play through the story again, or do like some of the side quest games had like hard mode that unlocked special items and stuff that I could have gotten. But I don't think I'm going to. I think I've gotten my fill. I've got the story. I'm good. I'm happy. But
do you feel good about the story? Was it fulfilling? I know it's another cliffhanger because there's a part 3, of course.
Yeah,
but
I I don't want to spoil too much because you haven't played it. But I know you've played the original, but
yeah, but you know how they like to put twists on something.
So far, this game has been taking a lot of liberties. From what I understand. So let's just say I was not expecting what happened to happen at the end, and it's a big cliffhanger. And so I'm happy with the story, but it was quite a few shots. It was like almost like one after another. It's like, no way, wait, what? Holy smokes. Like that happened multiple times at the end. Like as I was playing the last like chapter, it just kept hitting me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, phenomenal game. Please go play Rebirth. I mean, if you want to play, if for anyone out there who hasn't played even Remake, I saw Integrate is on sale like on Steam right now. So if you want on your Steam Deck or on your PC or whatever, it's Integrate includes Remake and the DLC, which I highly recommend playing because otherwise there's going to be a couple moments in Rebirth where they like flash back to stuff and it's not going to make any sense. So play the Yuffie DLC. It'll be worth it. But yeah, it might be a 10 out of 10 game for me. Like that's it. I mean, it has to be. I think it'd be crazy if I didn't say it was 10 out of 10. Like there's really only a couple times I didn't enjoy my time, and it usually came down to specific character moments. I mean, you know the characters from Final Fantasy VII. So yeah. Kate Sith. There's like a couple times where you're forced to go through sections playing as him, and he's not fun to play as. He's not fun. The combat's not great. And so there's like 2 moments where like short, fortunately very short, where it's just like, all right, you got to play as Kate and go through this whole story thing while everyone else is off doing their own thing. I'm like, no, why? But other than that, like this game, I loved every moment of it. So this might be a 10 out of 10 for me. Probably my game of the year. But I know there's still more to come this year. We'll see. All
right.
I'm just happy to be free of it as well. As much as I loved it, it's nice to be like, all right, what's next? You know, what adventure can I embark on next? I was almost debated jumping into Final Fantasy 16 since I have that on my PS5. But I'm like, I just finished
That's another hefty game, dude.
Yeah, I just finished this huge game. I'm still in the middle of Kingdom Hearts 2.
I was going to say, plus you have another 10 out of 10 you still need to play. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eddie over on YouTube says, some may say JJ Purdom is the Kate Sith of podcasting. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I was debating, like, do I go to another Final Fantasy game? Do I go to another big RPG? I just finished a big RPG. I'm in the middle of Kingdom Hearts 2, another big RPG. And I was like, no, you know what? There's a game.
Take it easy.
That was my game of the year last year that I never got to finish, which is wild because you're probably thinking, wow, you call it your game of the year and you didn't even finish it. There's a lot of games that came out last year, a lot of great games, and I played a lot of them. And so I fell off of this one for a little bit, but I'm back on the saddle, and that is Armored Core 6. Oh, baby. I thought jumping back into this, I'm like, oh no, am I going to need to restart this game? Because it's a From Software game. It's difficult.
Right.
I was like, am I gonna jump in and just get my teeth kicked in? You know, this is gonna be like just a massacre, right? Boy, I jumped in. It was like riding a freaking bike. Let me tell you, no problems. I just started clearing levels out. There's main mission levels that you do, like jobs that you can take, and then there's an arena, which is like. It's just playing it. It's not playing online. It's playing against NPCs, but it progressively gets harder. It's almost like I don't know what you like a in Pokemon. Isn't there like the Pokemon Tower or whatever? And it progressively gets harder and harder as you like
the Battle
on.
Tower. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Battle Tower, but like you start at like F rank and you have to slowly work your way up. And so like I'm up to like when I started the game I was at like D or C. Now I'm up to like B, almost to the A. So I'm like, just in the last like 2 days, I've just been blowing through Armored Core 6 and absolutely loving it so much. Feeling right at home, jumping in there. And yeah, the story so freaking, I don't know. It's just so interesting. I don't know if it's good yet to me. Like the reason it was a game of the year for me was more because of the gameplay, which is surprising for me because I love a good story. But I think for me, it's like, I don't know if the story is good, but it's definitely interesting. Like the world of Armored Core is so wild. And we've talked about this in the past, but just like the whole war economy, like there aren't governments. Everything's kind of run by corporations, and like you being an Armored Core, like you are like, you know, we're a third party mercenary. We take odd jobs. So like one job, you're fighting for this team you're fighting for Team A against Team B. And then the next day I'm fighting for Team B against Team A. And it's just like, you're just gun for hire, work for whoever just to make a buck. So it's just such an interesting world and lore and concept all around it. And I love that. I love every time like if we're given a little bit more of the story, it's like, oh man, like this is such a wild, crazy world. And I love robots, you know, blowing stuff up, zooming around super
and you're
fast
a mech
on a
man.
map. Yeah, slicing stuff up with my laser sword. It's pretty great. So yeah, it's still up there. I think it's still my game of the year from last year, and I'm excited to finish it. I think I'm more than halfway through it now. I looked up just to walk through, just to see how many chapters there were. Because I was like, okay, I'm getting towards the end of this specific chapter. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but I'm getting towards the end of this chapter. I wonder where I'm at. I'm like, okay, yep, I'm just over halfway through now. So I probably got another 20 or so hours at least. If I start mainlining it, I could probably finish up in like another 20 hours or so. But fantastic game, so good. More people need to play Armored Core. I almost jumped back in the Elden Ring, but I was very scared.
Now you want to talk about really getting your teeth kicked in?
I was like, do I want to get beat to death as a mech, or beat to death as a naked dude in a diaper, and starting out in Elden Ring. So I was like, now I'll go with getting beat to death as a freaking giant robot. So, and the tables have turned, and I'm kicking everyone else's butt. I'm loving it. Go play some Armored Core 6. All right. Well, that is all I got for you guys this week. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for all of you folks who've been hanging out in the chat tonight. It's been a chatty group. I've been appreciating that. It's always fun to go into a show and have a bunch of people, chiming in live. So if you want to be some of those people, tune in Monday evenings around 7:30 Pacific time, PM Pacific time. At twitch.tv/the Super Gamer Boys and youtube.com/Super Gamer Boys. We're live in both places. You can chat with us there. You can also catch us anywhere and everywhere on Wednesdays when this releases as well. Podcast apps over on YouTube. Check it out. If you love what we do, want to help support us, think about support us over at Patreon. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. We talked about it earlier on the show. We got multiple tier levels, different perks, whatever you might be looking for. Think about supporting us over there. It's a little $1 a month. Helps a lot. We appreciate all those folks tremendously. Really, you guys don't realize how much help that is. Thank you so much. SGBstore.com, as mentioned previously, it's still not live quite yet, but hopefully this week, keep your eyes peeled on social media. Hopefully it'll be live and you can get your sweet summer gear. Rate and review us where you can, over on whether it's Apple Podcast or on Spotify. Drop those 5 stars, leave us a comment. We'd love that. It'd help the channel out tremendously. Get our podcast seen to more people. Shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Find them over on Apple Music and Spotify. Links will be in the show description on Spotify, on YouTube and on podcast apps. Make sure to find those links and go give them a listen. Add them to your playlist. We got some good stuff. You can find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere on the internet at Homeboy.
And with that, I'm done. That's all I got. So Adrian, would you mind taking us out?
Of course. Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another week and episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As always, we appreciate any and all forms of support, whether that's just hanging out here in the live stream, listening to the podcast audio version, or the on-demand VODs of the show, or sharing clips. It all helps. We are just chugging along. I think we're at 418, 19 at this point.
Yeah, we're picking up steam, and it's fun to see. Even the views are picking up a little more on some shorts and clips. So if you're not subscribed over on YouTube, please do subscribe over there and watch some of the content. That helps a lot as well. We're getting so close to 500. If we can get 500 by the end of the year, ooh baby, it'd be so awesome.
It's possible. I think it's definitely going to happen. So, but it won't happen without your support. So please keep continuing to share, tell people about us. You never know who might be interested in hearing a couple of yokels yapping about games. All right. Well, I'm done. So until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, good. We're done. You can go on now. I don't want to distract you from your lemon juice. So you got a date tonight, a hot date tonight.
A hot date with some lemon juice.